Urban Gameplay, bringing you the most explosive gaming review on the planet.
Yo, ever since the original Splatoon came out with its bright and vibrant colors, adorable characters that the world fell in love with, and some great online gameplay that players around the world couldn't help but enjoy, it's no surprise that Nintendo decided to make a sequel for the game. In my opinion, a sequel that manages to perfect on the original Splatoon formula tenfold. I'm going to take a look at 10 things I love and hate about Splatoon 2, so make sure you keep it locked. Yo, for me, one of the greatest parts of the original Splatoon was the great colors that were spread out throughout the entirety of the game. Yet in the sequel, these colors have only improved by a serious amount. Everywhere you look, you've got bright greens, bright purples, and bright pretty much everything, and it simply reminds the player of just how good looking this game and its world truly is. Of all the aspects that Nintendo managed to improve in the game, the colors and the overall visuals are some of the best. This is currently a frustration that players of the original Splatoon will have wished was gone, but alas, that doesn't seem to be the case. As of right now, you can't currently change out your desired loadout in a lobby just before a game starts, and it's one of the more annoying parts of the game. There's no real reason to restrict the player from doing it, as it only means that they have to sort everything out before they even consider joining a lobby. What makes it even more frustrating is when you've gone into a lobby and your entire team appears to have the same exact loadout as you, the only way you can deal with that is by leaving and joining again, all in hope that you find a more varied team, and in my opinion, an unnecessary waste of time. Hopefully there's something that Nintendo may rectify in the near future, but who knows. Yo, back from the original Splatoon is the fast and frantic gameplay that we've all come to know and love at this point. By the time you jump into your first game, you'll quickly come to realize that you're not going to have a single minute to catch your breath, since the gameplay is action-packed from the very moment you start to play. Regardless of your loadout at the time, you easily will be able to lose hours upon hours into this game, no matter how much you've already put into the original Splatoon, as the developers have only improved on this that much more. Yo, this is something that fans of the series have been requesting for some time now, but once again it seems that Nintendo are a little bit adamant not to include it in their family-friendly shooter. Initially it's not such a big deal, but as you get into playing the game more and more and potentially want to start coordinating with other players on your team, you're quickly gonna get shot down, which is a real shame. The only real way to circumnavigate this is to get a few friends, download a third-party application and communicate through that, because otherwise you're gonna have a slightly more frustrating time when playing online. Yo, with a brand new sequel to a game, you can expect to see some vast improvements all across the board, and with Splatoon 2, that is exactly what you get. All the major mechanics from the original Splatoon, in my opinion, have been improved and feel much better than ever without being too drastically changed to be considered a confusing new re-edition of the originals. Something many players are gonna really appreciate when they play the game for the first time. Yo, no one can say that Splatoon 2 hasn't improved a whole host of features from the original game, but to me, at the end of the day, it still just feels like Splatoon 1 with some brand new updates, and at times that's rather deflating. Even with this brand new game, it does feel a lot like the original Splatoon, and in a lot of sense, that is definitely a great thing. That's what players really did want, but at the end of the day, it doesn't stop the overall package feeling a little bit lackluster if you've already put in more than 60 hours into the original game at this point, and don't feel there's anything more worth seeing in the series. But I guess if it isn't broken, then why try and fix it? Yo, one great thing about a brand new shooter, especially when it comes to the sequels, you get a whole new selection of grade A weapons for you to try whenever you see fit, and it quickly extends the life of both the game and the series in general. What makes the brand new weaponry that much better is the fact that all of them are fun to use, even if you aren't the best with them as of yet. Some guns may not be quite your liking, but at the end of the day, with the array of weapons at your disposal, before too long, you're bound to find something you're absolutely gonna love. Yo, for many years at this point, the way we group up with our friends online in games is incredibly easy. Someone sends an invite, the recipient accepts, and then they're in a party together and can play from there on side by side. Nintendo decided that this particular practice isn't quite how they like doing things, so instead you have to have a friend join a lobby, only to have you join them in that lobby and hope you get in before the match starts. What makes this just that little bit worse is that you're not necessarily going to be on the same team, which is a ridiculous notion when you realize that you're playing a shooting game that revolves around working as a team, hence the reason you're playing with a friend. Yo, in online specific games, especially when it comes to shooters, it's reported that a majority of player base don't even consider touching the single player side of things. But with Splatoon 2, that mentality would have you missing out on some great experiences. Inside the brand new single player campaign is plenty of fun and interesting levels to play through, a plot to sink your teeth into, and some new mechanics that rear their head when you jump online that you won't want to miss out on. Yo, a feature in the original Splatoon that players were rather up in arms about was the rotation of different maps and game modes every few hours, rather than having access to all the maps and game modes at one point. If you've played Splatoon, you're going to have a favorite game map or a game mode that you love to play when you get the chance. But when you realize that you're gonna have to need to wait around 6 hours for that particular map to be part of the rotation, is quite frustrating. Nintendo obviously have their reasons for this as to not segregate their players, but other shooters or first-person shooter games don't do this and don't nearly have the same problem with having too many splits between their players. While it may be a problem that Nintendo seek to solve, not everyone is happy to sit at home waiting for that one map to come up, only just for you not to have had the chance to play it all day, all thanks to the fact that it wasn't in rotation when you first loaded up the game.
Final verdict.
Yo, all in all, I'm extremely pleased with the way Splatoon 2 has turned out. This is one of those sequels that fans was hyped for, and I believe this game definitely lived up to the expectations and the hype that was surrounding the game. I feel if you do own a Nintendo Switch, this should definitely be a game on your radar, as it is such a phenomenal pick up and play game. Elements like the motion controls I'm personally still struggling to get used to since even playing the beta right up to now with the official release. But maybe I'm probably not made out for all these motion control type of games. So obviously once I turn that particular feature off, I'm definitely having a great time playing this game. Anyway peeps, thanks for taking the time out to watch my 10 love and hate things about Splatoon 2. Do let me know if you've been enjoying this game and what you think of the game as a whole. If you enjoyed this video, do give me that all important thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so before. And until next urban gameplay video, we definitely say peace out peeps.
Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for more cool urban gameplay videos.